Hello, my name is Michael Ventrelli, and over the course of this semester, my project focused on building consistency with exercise, improving my physical and mental health, as well as providing more routine and discipline for myself. At the beginning of the project, my goal was mainly to work out more. It was mainly to improve my physical because I didn't feel the need to improve my mental health. That was a huge mistake in the long run. When I first started, working out was easy. I was able to be consistent with it, and I was able to manage and get by with the routine that I set up. What I failed to realize is the consistency of eating well. I set up a meal plan for me, exactly what to eat, what days to eat that, and how much to eat. And that is right here. There are very few amount of calories, and there is not a lot of diversity in the food. And this led me to straying off course of my plans and not really giving myself freedom to eat well. I mean, eat well, but not eat with variance. I really think for me, the check-in with Project 2 was definitely the hardest check-in that I had to do, mainly because my shoulder dislocated and it really just threw a wrench into everything that I've worked for. I wasn't able to go to the gym. I wasn't really feeling productive. And that's when I really realized that your mental health is just as important as your physical health. And I learned that the hard way because not being able to do what you love and not being able to really do anything takes a big toll on your mental health. And so I was forced to learn how to cope with that, how to, get comfortable with the uncomfortable, how to see the better things. And so I did. I started reading, I picked up different hobbies that I thought would benefit me, such as chess. And I did what I could with the most of it. And so I still had my routine of waking up early. And I thought to myself, just because I don't feel the best about myself or haven't been the most consistent doesn't mean that I have to let myself go. Now, in the beginning, in part 1, I said this.
80%. There are 3 levels of completency. A, being all 4 workouts completed, meals followed as planned, and no missed calendars. B, which is 3 workouts completed, minor schedule adjustments, and 70 to 89% adherence. And C, which is where I need improvement, or so that would be 2 or fewer workouts, multiple missed calendar blocks, and less than 30% adherence to class.
Mainly what I want to get on is the A grade that I was talking about with consistency. I believe that I met the strongly satisfactory result of being able to be consistent because I was consistent. In fact, I was overly consistent, but in a different aspect, as in I was consistent with my mental health as well. Being consistent just with one thing doesn't necessarily mean that you're consistent overall. And so that's why I gave myself a strongly satisfactory report and still, because I was still consistent with being consistent. Maybe it wasn't for the goal I originally set, but I developed new goals based on different circumstances. With that being said, I still have demonstrated growth from beginning to the end. My routine definitely has become more stable. I have stayed very committed despite my setbacks, and I was able to compare myself to earlier submissions, and there was a visible difference. This project taught me a lot, mainly that change is more difficult and a lot less linear than people talk about. People talk about change as this very simplistic concept where if you do this, then you'll be able to do you'll change this. Habits definitely change and they shape kind of like daily life a lot more than people realize. Small routines, environment, stress, and people around me and us affect how we behave in general. One of the biggest concepts that I have learned throughout this project is how to adapt. I mean that literally. I failed to account for minor setbacks, major setbacks, or just anything that could possibly go wrong. Even me getting sick of the food that I was eating, I planned way too narrowly and I didn't allow for flexibility. And so throughout this project, I've been able to be more flexible, more consistent with being flexible, and I've even allowed myself to get out of my comfort zone and start eating foods that weren't on the original prep because that's what it means to be flexible. This project definitely changed the way that I think about culture. It showed me that habits become normalized over time, and once like a behavior is repeated enough, it becomes normal and it becomes an everyday part of your life. For me, it was waking up early. I dreaded, waking up because I would be going to sleep at 12 and I knew that if I want to be consistent, I have to wake up at 7, and I did it. I would wake up, and throughout time it just got easier and I started getting sleepier earlier and I got the sleep that I needed. This project also helped change how I view myself. I kind of viewed myself way too highly, as in, I don't think anything's going to happen to me. This is going to be super easy. And I really got humbled by this project. I realized that I'm a human. I have room to make mistakes and I am not perfect. I'm going to mess up. I'm going to mess up my routine. I'm going to sleep in a little later than I should be, and I'm not going to be able to work out every day. And that's okay. It showed me that it's okay to not be perfect. It's okay to make mistakes, and it's okay to not be consistent for a little bit. And that really helped my mental well-being. I don't see myself ever really stopping this routine. This has definitely showed me personal growth in a long-term process. And I think that moving forward, I honestly plan on continue building on habits and learning new things and adapting more. I know that class is ending, but I don't really want this experience to end with it. I want it to continue on because it's truly something that I feel like everybody should go through, just some sort of change to your everyday life. And that was this project for me. It showed me that real change happens slowly, that whether that be through repetition, adaptation, persistence, or all of the above. It genuinely did help me for the better. It helped me understand both myself a lot more and the role that culture and habits play in everyday life. Thank you.